Oh dear, I'm sure hoping it's not going to. Okay, we're back. Hmm. Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay. Well, it's real interesting. I can't see me. I'll be there in just a minute. Let me see if I can open a different page where I can see what's going on. Okay, thank you, Becky. I'll be there in just a minute. Let me. Okay. I think I got it. Okay. Ah. Hi, Deborah. Okay. Hi, Jerry. Okay, I'm back. So that's okay. we're good. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what happened because it said I was still streaming and then it was gone. So okay, so we were talking about the fact that I do these, I do envelopes a lot. I do envelopes a lot this way, but you can do just regular paper too, regular copy paper. And so I was going to show you what I use. And quite frankly, these, my son is 28 right now this year. 28 or he'll be 29 this fall. These two packages were his, and that's what I have been using. And I finally cleaned one of them up to use as a palette. That's my favorite. So I happened on these at the thrift store the other day, so luckily I'll have another set. These are my favorites for doing this particular type of watercolor. Now, this set I tried, and a lot of watercolors, especially the ones in the tubes, have what's called, I think it's called a ground in them. It's to help them hold their color kind of thing. And let me see if I can find you one of the pages and show it to you. I wasn't as happy with these. Now, okay, let me see if I can get in real close. It's okay. See the texture in here? All of this? Okay, that is what these do. Now, I'm not saying that that's because of these paints. These paints were my father's, and they were in the shed, in the heat down here. So it's not necessarily this brand of paint. It could be that they have just, whatever the ground was that was in them has just absorbed the color, and it's not watering down. So I mean, there's other fun things to do with this, but I don't particularly like them for what we're going to do today. Then I have these, and these are a set I bought myself ages ago, and I actually haven't used them much. I thought we might try them today to see what happens. And then these are watercolor brushes that I bought at Dollar Tree. There was 4 in the package for $1, and so I thought we would try those today because I hadn't tried them for this. But and when it comes to this kind of watercolor, Crayola does make a nice kids watercolor. I'm offline again. Okay, looks like I'm back. guys. I'm sorry if this isn't going to work. I have no idea why. I don't want to keep going if it's going to keep bouncing back and out forth. Okay. Now when I go to do the envelopes, I look for the envelopes without the security stuff in them, usually. Thanks, Jackie. It popped and said offline, and then popped and said I was back. So I usually just cut my envelopes like that. Now, if I'm going to put them in something specific, I may have to trim them down later. And you guys know I go through a lot of envelopes with all of the things I do. The other thing you need is a lot of water. I have a big tub of clean water. I mean, it's big. And then I have my water sprayer bottle. And now, I'm not fond of the brushes that come in the kids' things. They're just, you know, terrible brushes. But I also don't buy real expensive brushes because I'm very bad about cleaning them. I clean them, I just don't take very good care of them. So, I'm just going to trim up a few here and then we'll start painting. But this just lets me open the envelope and use it like a piece of paper. Now, Crayolas, I like the bigger set of Crayolas better, this one, because it has a lot more colors in it. This smaller set has brown and black, and then it has the basics, but it doesn't have as many pretty colors. There's a real pretty turquoise that comes in this one. Hi, Beth. Okay, Beth. Sounds good. I'm sorry you have to go. And guys, if I missed anybody coming in because I was having trouble with my stream, I apologize. Just hello, hello. Okay, that ought to be enough for a starter. Right. One of the things I like to do is to spray down my tray. I try to avoid the black and brown, that way I don't get so much of it all over my papers. And then if I'm going to do a bunch, I like to just layer them up like so. And I just put some copy paper underneath because I'm going to do some copy paper pages too. And I agree with you, Becky. Yuck, blood work. Although I don't mind blood work. Blood work's a lot easier than other things. I kind of turn my, this is a plastic window, and there was another plastic window and it would have lined right up on the same spot. I kind of turn it the other direction because that way you don't get the plastic stuck together. The trash man has come. It's Thursday, so he's coming to take out my trash. I'll be back in a second. Here's this one. I just need to empty. Oh, Joyce, I'm sorry. Well, I haven't really gotten started too far. What I have told him is that my favorite is to use Crayola watercolors. Thanks, honey. A soft brush and tons of water. Now, one of the things you need to think about, let me get out my pages, is color families. When you're working with color family, with watercolors especially, you'll turn things into mud if you're not careful with color families. Like when you use yellow and red, that's okay because you get orange, or red and blue because you're going to get purple. If you're not careful when you get your red and blue together with yellow, then you end up starting to make brown and mud. Yellow and blue and the green works together. Now, if you don't get the two mixed together, you can get some nice colors. If you're worried about it, hello, Kim. Make sure that what you do is let it dry some in between. And see this one, this is, well, in this set there is some really pretty purples and pinks and blues. I just don't have one of those right now. Every time I've been in the store with a coupon, I seem to have used my coupon for something else. But if you let them dry in between, you can go back and paint white spots. So, and the other thing is to work, I have a Teflon mat, work on something plastic, and have tons of paper behind you. Oh, thank you, Kim. To lay your stuff out on. You need, hi Patricia. You need to make sure you have a bunch of space to lay these out because they're going to get drippy wet. Okay? And I just kind of start with a spray bottle. That whole inside is plastic. Okay, this entire front of this envelope is covered in that plastic stuff. So I'm going to turn it over and paint from this side. Because what I do, lots of water, remember, is, oh, that, okay, that brush is not going to cut it. Okay, that's trash can brush. I'll be right back. I have to get a decent brush. Sorry guys, that brush just shed all over everywhere, and I'm not gonna put up with it. So, drippy wet mess. Yes. Patricia, did I say hello? I hope so. Drippy wet mess is my favorite. And I just kind of, now it's not wet enough. My paint in my paint tub isn't wet enough. So I'm just going to spray more water on there. Because I want it thin. I want to be able to write over it. I don't want to fight with writing. And my paints end up kind of muddied up together. This is kids paint too, remember, so you know it didn't cost that much. And I just kind of, and if you can't tell, this piece of paper is really getting wet. And by the way, if you haven't treated yourself to one of these bottles for water, dang, is it nice. I got it at Sally's Beauty Supply. It's a spray bottle for beauticians. Yes, yeah, Kim, how dare it? And I just kind of mop on the color. Some of it is solid, some of it isn't. Okay? Then what happens is it bleeds right through to the other side. And if it's not totally covered, I don't worry about it. I leave it that way. So I have this nice drippy wet paper that I've got to do something with. And so I have freezer paper on the floor, because I told y'all Tuesday that I use freezer paper on my floor. It's plastic on one side, and it is it's plastic on one side and it's paper on the other, so it keeps it from going through to my wood floor, because that would not be a good thing. Jeff might just divorce me if I get stuff all over the wood floor. And you see, I went in the water. I didn't pick up more paint. I just went in the water. There's not enough water over here for my drippy wet mess. And if it starts to get dry on my palette, I just spray some more water on it. And since these are brand new and haven't been used, they're taking a lot more water to pull up. Yeah, Kim, that spray bottle really is nice. It wasn't cheap for a spray bottle. It was about $6, I think. It wasn't bad. It was well worth the $6 I paid. Let's put it that way. So then I have another one. And see, it's really wet and really nasty. But you see how bright and pretty the colors are? I missed something that Joyce said. What'd we say? You're probably right, Kim. He wouldn't, but he would certainly be unhappy with me. Yeah, he wouldn't want to train a new one either. No, it's one mist, but it is so fine. There's no splotches. It comes out as a real fine spray. Now, I want to try these. And like I said, these are from the Dollar Tree. And I have no idea what they're going to do. I did a review on them, and I like them for painting on dry paper. They're kind of cool. And needless to say, we had already painted on that. Some. And basically, these are just color, and they're laying down very much like the Crayolas without a lot of grit, which I'm okay with. There's no way to get any more color out of them than comes out on their own. Let's get some more water on the paper. And you see, they come out, they end up very, very wet. And they take a while to dry. And it's not so much the paint drying, it's the paper having to dry. These are cool, but the watercolors in the Crayola box are more fun, actually. Like I said, I got it at Sally's Beauty Supply. We're going to attempt to lay in a little blue in some of the, that's got way too much. Yeah, I don't think I like these for this. So we'll go back to our Crayola ones. Oh, I missed somebody. Hi, Little My. Nice to see you here. I don't know if you've been in one of my streams before. Like I said, I miss people when they come in, and I apologize. This one needs a little more color. It's that ink is in this one is in those things just didn't quite cut it. So we're gonna just give it a little extra. And I don't know, but that's noisy. Okay, apparently it's my computer, guys. For some reason, it's got an attitude today. It's making noise. Okay, from Amazon? All right, I will look for an Amazon link later, guys, for it. Because that would save you having to find a Sally's. And you see it goes right through, so you're painting both sides of the paper by wetting it down. Let's go for some purple and blue. Oops, I forgot to spray my paper. Now you don't have to spray the paper. I just find that it bleeds out the way I like it if I spray the paper. It gets lots of spreading and see how it's puddling right there? I love that. And thank you, Little My. It doesn't have a name, hon. Jerry, it has no name, but on the bottom it says IC 18283. See here? But I saw them. Okay, the other thing is, guys, if you use Febreze air freshener, they will come in this kind of bottle. And you can reuse it. Okay, Becky just gave you a link to a 3-pack of these bottles. Yeah, Becky, the little brush pens would be for just adding in stuff, I think. If you wanted to put some little dots on there, that would be cool, Becky. And the thing of it is that it looks really dark right now, but most of the time it gets a lot lighter. Okay, and if you get too much, there's a big old puddle and you're going to make a mess going to the next, to the floor. Turn it over and just pat some of it off. And you see it goes through. It's not totally covered, but I love it. I love it when it does that. But yeah, one of the Febrezes comes in a bottle that looks like this. It is the same bottle. Okay, what is, look up. Flairosol. Thank you, little Mai. Yeah, speckles would be fun. Let's, okay, this has got a lot of color on it already. So let's, put just a little more color. The big thing is since I want these pages to be able to write over all of this, it's about note taking. It's not so much, that's what I use them for anyways. I try to get the paint not too dense so that it has, it's sort of it's not really transparent. What is the word I'm looking for? It's very faint. And then when you go to write over it, your pen shows just fine. Fresh. Okay, Becky has posted a link that is a 3-pack of these bottles, and like I said, if you use Febreze air freshener stuff, translucent. Thank you, Becky, but once it goes down on the paper, is it translucent? Hi, Lynn. That's where the word didn't want to sit right. But then, let's see. Let's get some water. I like my other water brush better where I can squeeze it. Now, if you want to make speckles with your paint, you can just get and then just pick up some paint, and I don't worry about it if it gets on there, like so. Now that one may not have gone through a lot. It did just fine. It went through and painted pretty on the back. And I try to kind of stick in the color families. Like if I'm going to make blue and purple, I make some blues and, oh, I forgot my spray bottle. I try to make several blues and purples rather than going back and forth between yellow and red. And I might stick some red in here because it turns purple too. Put some down with those brush pens and then spray it. Okay, I'll try it in a minute, Becky. Oops, I went in the black. I will try it on the next one, Becky. Now, on the way I do my traveler's notebooks, oh, I just love the way the back side always looks. And it's fun the way the white stays on there because the plastic's on this side. You know, these might be dries, might be what's happening. That, and I'm asking for a lot of color. See, they work real well if you're not asking for a lot of color at one time. Hi, Brittany. Let's now understand that these are $1 watercolor brushes from Dollar Tree, so I was surprised how dense the paint in them actually was. I sort of figured they would be without any color to speak of. Okay, now let's try putting water on it. What's interesting is that it doesn't bleed a lot. I mean, it stays in its little spot. Okay, well that's an experiment we're going to have to try then. We're going to put some yellow over the top of both of these. I'm surprised that it doesn't bleed up through there. That is really cool. Basically, I'm just covering the whole thing with yellow, and it's still, I have blue paint and the likes of that. I have an idea. And it went through real well. Okay, let's go to one that's not quite. You see, they have, if you're just painting something with them, they have a lot of color in them. I was real surprised by them. There's a review, I did a review of these on my channel a while back. Using them to actually kind of paint with. And I was real pleased with them. We need another one on this page. That's what I was just thinking, Becky. Did you type that and I didn't see? Jerry, if you're not careful, it will tear the paper, but once you get it down on the floor, it seems to be okay. You just don't want to mess with it. The other thing is that you don't want to mess with it until it gets dry. But these are envelopes too, and it's a little bit different in the way of paper. Okay. Now see, when I sprayed it, since I put it on a dry page that was pretty dry, the red is bleeding around a little bit, and that's okay. We're going to put some really sloppy blue on it. And that's why, Jerry, when you pick them up, you want to really be careful with them. But, you know, most paper is a little sturdier than you think. The other thing is a lot of these envelopes have glue on them still, so when you pick it up, you want to take it easy because it's sopping wet all the way through. I like it with the painting with the brushes, and we could make some illuminated borders. Let's make an illuminated border on this one. Let's see. Needless to say, my illuminated border is very crooked, but that's okay. Okay, let's... You know, if you were, you know, painting, you know, a scene or something, these brushes are kind of fun. I thought they were fun when I got them. They've been open for 2 or 3 months. I mean, as far as out of the package open. So they've been around a little bit, and seem to be doing real well as far as not drying out. I'm not looking at chat, guys, so if you've asked me a question, make sure you ask it again, just in case I haven't seen it. I'll be right there to look at it. And what was interesting on the last one is I did not let it dry, and then when I put the other color over it, it still doesn't bleed a whole ton. And believe me, I'm putting a lot of water on here. Let's see, what do we want? We'll do some orange. There was blue in my paintbrush. I forgot. blue or green, something like that was in my paintbrush. I'm surprised that the paintbrush doesn't take the other paint right off. So everybody must be busy playing. Nobody's chatting. There weren't either that or there weren't any questions. Oh, Brittany's at work. I had to do that this morning, dear. So you know, it was one of those days where and one of the reasons I was late is because I was waiting for the kiln to stop. I had to. It was still making noise when I started, and it makes a very clicky, nasty noise. Okay, so we're down to some copy paper. So Jerry will find out how well the copy paper holds together because I actually haven't done this on copy paper before. So we'll find out. What's going on? Oh yeah, they'd be nice, Becky, because you've got the real bright colors and the tip of them is, I don't know how well you can see the yellow. The yellow is real light. But the tip of them is pretty pointy. It's not bad for $1 for all. I mean, they're 25 cents a piece. Now I hadn't sprayed this one. It's damp already. I just been putting water on it with my brush. Partially because I wanted to preserve some of this color over here. And you know, this can be painted paper backgrounds for other things. You just do have to remember that watercolors will reactivate if you go back in with very much wet media. Joyce, yeah, if you were going to color in a book, in like a color book, I would think that they would be fun. Now, I have some, I don't know what brand they are. I have some more expensive ones that I have not even opened. Somewhere along the line, they came into my life, and I haven't had a chance to play with them yet. So now, Jerry, I did not spray this one, but the paint, the water has gone all the way through. So you have to be careful, but see, it's pretty good. I'm not being. Now it's fragile. It's not real sturdy right now. Oh, that one's going to have to stay just like it is. Look at that. Isn't that pretty, guys? I'm not going to mess with that one. I'm going to leave that one just alone. I like that. Happy accident. Becky, we are on the same wavelength. I didn't see that until you just said that. Clean colors, an expensive version. Yeah, Becky, I don't know how come we hadn't met before last year. I really don't. And for those of you that are new to my channel, the deal is Becky and I have husbands with the same basic name. She calls her Scott and I call mine Jeff, but their names are Jeffrey Scott. We both have MC as the beginning of our married name. We both have one child. Now, Jerry, I just sprayed that one. It hasn't gone clear out to the edge. I don't know. There must be 5 dozen things that we have found that we are just alike on. So, okay, it's not wet right there. So now, and you see, because I don't wash my brush out real well, as long as I stick to the same color families, I'm okay, because it'll pick up some blue, it'll pick up some red. Hello, Irma. I like how it bleeds into the paper because the paper's wet. And you remember, this is just cheap paper. It's not watercolor or anything like that. Every once in a while it needs a little bit of a dark. Okay, can you hear me? I'm going to wait until somebody says yes, you can hear me before I go on. Okay. Thank you, Janet. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But before I pick this one up, I wanted to show you. This one is really wet, and the copy paper is fabulous. I love what it's doing, because look at the one underneath. So, needless to say, the one underneath has to be saved too, because I really like that one. Isn't that gorgeous? This one's okay, but it needs a little more paint, so we're going to add some more to it. The thing of it is that the copy paper is thinner. Sorry for my head, guys. I need more copy paper. The copy paper is much thinner than the envelopes. So when you start to work on it and you spraying it, it's bleeding through, which I really love. I love the second. I'm getting 2 prints for every one, basically. I'm loving what's happening with it. So, yeah, the dyed effect. And that's really what I was after, Holly, with the whole thing. It looks like the paper has just that little bit of color to it, and it's sort of tie-dyed looking, and I'm using a lot of water. And the thing I like about the Crayola paints is the bright, the 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 fact that the colors are, they have a lot of bright color in them. So I like the copy paper, yeah. And the other thing is when it dries, it's kind of crinkly, which is fun. And if you get brush marks, that's because you don't have enough water on your paper. And that's okay. Now let's see what this one looks like underneath. Yeah, that crinkly paper sound. That's right. The crinkly paper sound is what's really cool. Okay, there's two pieces actually stuck together, so it's going to take me a minute to get them apart because that was really wet. Ooh, look at that one. Oh, I just love the second page. Now that's going to dry real light, but that's so pretty. Like this with leftover notebook paper and made a journal insert of it. I soaked it up on one side with watercolor and closed the book. Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. That would be really cool. That's kind of, Kim, that's kind of where this came from, is the girls saw these. I make these traveler's notebook inserts to use in my planner, and it just gives me some pretty papers to write on. Okay, let's do a green kind of one. And I am really sopping the paper, guys. It's just, okay, now. Yeah, the envelopes are fabulous. And food coloring would work real well, because you know it's liquidy and the other thing is the longer your pans of paint sit with water in them, the softer they get. So you'll pick up color in the, just by touching the water. And that's, I like, the longer I work, the more I like the paint. Okay, Jerry. I'm just glad you're here. I don't mind if you just listen. I listen a lot to a lot of different people. I just listen while I'm working. I can't listen when I'm on the torch. I have to pay attention to what I'm doing, but when I'm playing, I certainly listen when I'm playing. Okay, now we need just a touch of some red. This does make a little bit of a mess if you do that. Oh, now I splattered all over. Last time I did this, I was not making videos, I don't think. There's plenty of red in my paintbrush, and I don't want to... Okay, that's all right, Jerry. Ask away. Big jars of glue and... Jerry, I buy my Mod Podge in that like half-gallon container and move it to this little tub, and I put wax paper on my threads. Now, other people use Vaseline, but I'm not particularly fond of Vaseline. That's how I keep it from getting stuck. I missed something about painty papers from somebody. It scrolled up. Hi, Sharon. Yeah, I cover mine with wax paper. And that usually works real well. Oh, the second one on that one is really pretty too. Now, there's only one real problem. When I'm painting 2 pages at a time, I'm going to run out of space. Usually when I paint envelopes, they're not quite so big. Oh, I think I have to save this one. This needs a little right in there. Ugh. I use a sandwich bag. Yep, that will work. Oh, Brittany says she's making painting papers for her book. That one's going to dry real pale, but it's going to be pretty. Now, if you have to layer the paper, just make sure it's dry completely before you go to pick it up. Thank you, Jerry. I'm going to do some more envelopes because I need some more envelopes. So I'm going to cut open a few more envelopes. But yeah, I like the wax paper. I just change it every few times I have to open the jars. And then this last time I got my jar too full, so it really made a big old mess. And I'm going back to envelopes, guys, because I'm running out of space for the big papers. And we ought to try these Reeves watercolors. I'll have to try, you know, it may have been those I tried and I didn't like. He's been opened. Huh. That's one of the reasons why I save these things, because you can use them like a palette. We're gonna let that dry for a minute while I cut open. Yeah, see, it's got texture in it too. So that's why I like the Crayolas. It doesn't seem to have that gritty stuff in it. Anybody else notice the gritty stuff in tubed watercolors? Hello, Mike. Oh, Patricia, that'll be really nice. Mine are for my, what I wanted to make was for my do-si-do book for when we go to finish it, was painty papers. I was starting my book with pieces of envelope, and all of a sudden I decided I really needed the painty papers. And so that's what it's going to be, is painty papers. I think. I don't know. I love just messing with these watercolors though, because it's just I don't know, it's something to do. It's kind of creative when you might be stuck in a creative spot. Making a mess with watercolors is, you know, okay then, because then you end up, it's kind of like playing with your jelly plate. When you play with your jelly plate, don't you have a lot of fun? And it's no different with these. The only problem is I need to buy another package. I really like the big set. Now you do need to watch these, because some of them, when the seals get wet, oh, that one's got, okay, that's all right. When the seals get wet that haven't been used or stuck to anything, they will stick to your other papers. But that's okay. Remember, we're using our junk mail. Mindy, did you just come in? If you did, I'm sorry I missed you. The envelopes are heavier paper than the copy paper, so they don't soak through as quickly to the next one. See what I mean about when the palette starts to really get saturated, you can just grab some color real quick and spread it out. It just, the water that's in your palette just is full of yumminess. Well, hello, dear. Sorry I missed you. And as it dries, that'll do whatever it wants to do. I just let it do what it wants to do. If it wants to run around, I let it. Jeff, did you call Larry? And? Okay. Sorry guys, had to talk to hubby. His car had to be taken in. We picked up mine yesterday. There's nothing they can do for it. So I get to live with without anti-lock brakes, which is not a big deal. But there's lights on in my car, so it's not a big deal, but it's... Anyways, Jeff's air conditioner was broke, so we picked up one, dropped off the other. That's the way it's been going this week. And see, it doesn't take a long time to paint these. Now, it might need some red again. Oh, I'm sorry. What was she? Oh, Mike, I'll show you. Just a minute. I'm sorry. I missed the question. I'll be right back. I'm going to put this one up. We're working on a hangout with Beck Creations, Becky, and Lisa from Lisa My Eclectic Life. Mike, let me explain it, okay? So we're doing this do-si-do book, and I started to cut up some papers for it and decided I wanted some watercolor papers like these. And I was showing the girls this. This is a traveler's notebook I made with recycled envelopes and this paint. So that's what I'm doing right now. So then I decided I would paint some copy paper. Let me get one. And this is one of the pieces of copy paper. So now then, Mike, it's not that they can't fix it, it's that they cannot buy the part. My poor little rodeo is 25 years old. And the ABS module is, the computer module is apparently gone. And they're looking, but they couldn't find one. So there are things you can't do to a 25-year-old rodeo. So the brakes work fine. The anti-lock part of it is what's not gonna work. So I'm okay with that. I've driven old cars before that had no anti-lock brakes. Ooh, that one got very dark. That spot's dark. Ooh, ooh. Okay, Mike, we'll talk about it when I really need it. So far, it's intermittent. I will talk to you. I'll message you. Yeah. It, it's and unfortunately, it's got some. It has little issues, but it's beautiful. I love him. And my little car is my favorite thing that we've gotten lately. Hi, Dana. Um, I just wanted to make sure, Mike, that the fact that my lights were coming on was not, that I didn't have a break grabbing or something like that. That was my biggest issue. Because they're only coming on part of the time. They're intermittent. I'm also losing my instrument cluster. I've lost my battery gauge. Battery gauge. Battery charge gauge. Now this time I haven't wet it down real far because I wanted to keep that blue and kind of go around it without getting too much bleeding together. So I'm just using the real watered down paints. And if your water starts to get real dirty, remember you need to change it, because that's what makes mud, is dirty water. And see, this one, because I didn't wet it down, the back side is not real, the paint is not really coming through. So I sometimes do come over here and just put a little more paint on it. Not a lot, just a little. But these make the funnest little journals. Okay, this is the first, no, is this the first one? No, this is like the third one I did, and see, it's still real wet, even though we've been playing for about an hour. No one else found the ingredients to make mud. Oh, okay. Ingredients to make mud. Well, we could make mud pies. I do not remember making mud pies as a child. I don't like to get paint on my hands. I know, I'm strange. I don't like to paint with my fingers. I very rarely do it. We have not made very much green. I guess we need to make some green. Lots of water. just watch out for putting red with the green. If you put yellow with the green, you're okay. But it's when you start trying to put red with the green. That's right, Mike. Mud is all about the art. Yep. And you notice I do not do my brush like that. I tend to use it sideways. I am not a good girl when it comes to taking care of my brushes. Let me see. This would have been one of my father's brushes. And Jeffrey just cleaned out my mom's shed, and there was a ton of canvases out there that he had done over time. Okay, now we're going to put a little blue in here. Oh, all about art. Okay, hi, all about art. See it? I thought we were talking about mud. And all about art, hello. And is there a name I should be remembering, because I know I should know it? Brittany, you know, I don't paint realistic things. I tend to paint more abstract. So this works for me, because if I was having to be very careful, it probably wouldn't work. And that doesn't mean that I don't like realistic painting. Oh, that's interesting. See this piece? It's all loose. I just, this tends to be the way I work, so that's. Acrylic April. That would be fun. Acrylic April. I have been seeing that Mary's doing that, I think. I hadn't seen anything about it until April started, but I have too many other things going for April anyways, but that is, I'm just putting little tiny dots of purple and letting it bleed. Just for the fun of it. Okay, I want to do, let's see. I'm going to do one more envelope because I have hole for one more envelope. Yeah, Becky, I love watercolor backgrounds. Cinnamon from the Art Sherpa. Thank you, Brittany. Cinnamon. Okay. Cinnamon cone. Okay. Yes, and I like to tear it up and use it in collage. I like that a lot. I like to... I like to tear up these kind of papers and collage with them. Maybe if I get enough made, I'll have to do that for some of my 100-day project. Just put some of these in the 100-day project. Now, one of the things is you can go through a palette of Crayola really fast. Oh, you like it, Mindy? Thank you. My commitment to myself is not just to do the collage, is to post on Instagram. I have been lucky enough so far that I've been able to video it as well. But my real big commitment is to post on Instagram, and thank you to Jerry, I have found a way to do it from my computer, which is one of the reasons why I hadn't done it in the past. Instagram and I are not real friendly. So I am learning, and okay. I'm just going to leave those together and put them down below. Thank you, Mindy. I'm liking your little tags. Is that what you're doing, Mindy? Is tags? Is that how, or is it just a project? What is your 100 days? What? I got to get out another piece of floor paper. I'll be right back. Okay, I cleared a little holes. I can make a few more pages. Let's see what Mindy. I think it just is Tanya McGuire, Kim. On Instagram, I'm not sure. It's not a new account. It's an account I've had. I've just never posted very much. Now, decorating some sort of shape to use in a junk journal, tag, or card. I like the concept, Mindy. Okay, Janet, have fun. Although I don't know that, fixing lunch is fun, but he appreciates it. That's what matters. It's amazing how you can miss a spot with a spray bottle. It's McGuire Tanya. Okay, guy. Kim, last name first. McGuire Tanya. Thank you, Jerry. See, I don't even know. And I do not know why it's set up that way, but that's the way it is. Thank you, guys. Um, yeah, I go through bouts of writing in my journals, Kim. I'll do real well for several months, and then, oops, haven't done it in a week. But I knew that I couldn't take on any more for April. There was another project I wanted to do. Julie, Dear Julie, I think is what her YouTube name is. She's doing an ABC journal, and I would have really liked to have played with that, but I decided that was just, I can't really do that. I just... Now see, here's where the fun comes, is to see what's underneath this one. I won't be on until later, but I will be getting on tonight, and I'll see about what I can see. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love the paper that comes underneath the other paper. Even that one's really pretty. It needs some more, but it's really pretty. And I think it's going to get red and yellow up there. I was going to say, I think Mindy's is the same, because I recognized her when I recognized her when I started seeing her. We're going to see if we can paint a sunset here. Of course, then I'm going to cut it up into pages, so you know. And my water is getting very dirty. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say Jerry's on Instagram. Jerry's the one that's been helping me figure it out. I think this needs a little more green in the bottom, so I have to water it down some. There we go. Oh, I did in the beginning, Mindy. I'll show you. Give me just a second. Let me get this picked up. Oh, that one's pretty too. We're just gonna leave that one together with this one. Now, I know you guys think, oh, leaving it together. Well, believe it or not, if you let them dry completely, they will usually come right apart. So, see, that one's real pretty already, so I'm just gonna leave it. Mindy, these are watercolor brushes that I got at Dollar Tree. Yeah, that's it, Jerry. I want to do everything. Oh, hi, Susan. How are you? There's so little time and so many pretty things to create. There you go. Yes, Rose is having more issues with her eyes. Anyways, these are watercolor brushes. And what I was doing today was to do this kind of tie-dye look of the pages. And I was thinking these might work. These are watercolor brushes from Dollar Tree. Still, I wouldn't doubt it. And they did some fun things. They paint nice, but they didn't spread out. So we played with them earlier, and I found one of the things I liked was, now they will